All right. Good evening, fellow mortals. I am now live on my YouTube channel, and I am speaking to, he goes by Vibe Shepherd. I found him in Haz's Discord. And we're just going to have a nice, friendly chat about politics and philosophy and whatever strikes our fancy.
Nice. Hey, guys.
All right. So, my
like four quadrants: libertarian to authoritarian, and I think it's like free market to shared economy or something. You mean that one?
Yes, they have an economic axis and a social axis.
Yeah, I think I was interested when you said that you're maybe skeptical on the idea of a left element in having state power.
Yeah.
But you agree with left ethics.
Yes.
I think this is interesting. I think this is very interesting actually, because I was talking in the Discord the other day, has Discord, about how I thought, because we both hate liberals, right? We don't find any common ground with, they're insufferable, right? Like
I mean, I don't mind liberals, but except the ones who want to censor, and that seems to be all of them.
Exactly. Lock them up, right?
That's what they want to do to me. That's the problem.
Really? Who are these people?
Oh, geez.
The liberals. Yeah, they always want to cancel you. It's just like it's a never end. It's this constant like moralizing thing where they come at you and they say, "Oh, you can't say that. You can't do that." And it's just like, well, what am I allowed to do? Like, I'm not as hot. You know the Chinese word, right, for leftist, insufferable leftoid.
Oh God, I don't know it yet, but it's about to be one of my favorite words.
Yeah, man. I'll tell you all about it. It's called Baizio. I'm not sure the pronunciation, Baizio or something like that.
Wait, how's it spelled?
Baizuo. Baizio.
I believe it's pronounced Baiso or Baisho.
Yeah, something like that. That's close. And it means holy mother, and it's a sarcastic reference to the way like they're often like holier than thou. You know, these sanctimonious, like always making a hypocritical show of their empathy and their selflessness.
Right. And I think it's also like a double entendre with alluding to sort of the stifling femininity of the liberal crowd. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly. The unmanliness of it. Yeah.
Right.
No, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's it for sure.
All right.
Hey, I'm just going to, 1 second, I'm just going to do something.
Sure.
What's your address for this? Sorry, for the listeners, we're just going to quickly get a link.
On YouTube,
What's
you mean?
Link? Yeah, YouTube.
I can hear you.
Cool. Okay, so you were going to do the cross section, the map, the political. Do we want to do that still? Because we got kind of sidetracked there, didn't we?
I mean, I'm open. I'm always open to whatever avenues you want to take us down. But yeah, just my go-to.
Yeah.
My go-to is just doing a test with people.
What are the axes again? There's libertarian.
Sure.
Can you remember the axes?
There's an economic axis which goes from like full libertarian to full communist, and then there's a social axis that goes from like
conservative,
full authoritarian to like full anti-authoritarian, anarchist.
Okay, I'll tell you what I am. Maximally authoritarian and maximally left wing.
See, I don't believe you. I think you're closer to the center than that. But that's what the test is for, right?
No, No, this is the thing, because I think hierarchy is good, right? Because not only is it based and it's real and natural and everyone accepts it anyway, and there's no way around it. Like, it's the way
Hold on,
nature
what,
works, right?
bro? I'm
Think of the
I'm
food
so
chain.
sorry. I'm so sorry. One sec. My wife is trying to say something to me. One second.
Oh, okay, sure, no worries.
Translate this tweet for me.
I am so sorry, bro. Give me 1 second. She apparently needs my help translating a tweet. I'll be back in like 5 seconds.
Oh, okay, sure, no worries.
What does he mean? It's not that it's a spectrum of self-determination and not a spectrum of freedom. Because that sounds like some absolute BS.
Okay, let's see here. Why don't you come sit on the couch and join us, Deidre?
Are you doing camera?
Join us.
It's audio only.
Join us. Can you hear me? What's your name? I'm Larry, or Coops, or the Vibe Shepherd.
I'm Deidre. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
All right. Okay. So, let's see what you're dealing with here, Deidre. So it starts with a tweet, a minds.com tweet, LOL, that says it's not left versus right, it's freedom versus authoritarianism, which is actually ironically exactly what you were just talking about.
Right. Yeah.
Let's see.
So left freedom. So which is left and which is right? Is the authoritarian right or is?
Oh, that's a great. See,
Liberals are authoritarian.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
See,
no. Both sides.
Wait, no, sorry, I'm not a liberal.
More
liberals
authoritarian.
think that they're freedom.
Wait, what?
Liberals wouldn't think that they're authoritarian, but they kind of are.
Well, they want more
Yeah.
government power, right? So.
I know. Yeah. But no, I think there's a question of like the way that the presentation frames the essential matter of the question. Sorry, it's a convoluted way of putting it. Basically, like the way you frame it gives you a certain number of options, and I don't know if those are the best options for construing left and right, authoritarian and freedom. I don't see them as
Well,
necessarily left and right. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because
does that make sense?
No matter where you identify on the spectrum, everybody desires freedom, and everybody makes the mistake of exercising authoritarianism too much. So,
but at the same time, we always need authoritarianism a little bit.
No, Sorry, I'm interrupting you.
Deidre was just saying that at the same time as what I said, you still need authoritarianism to some degree.
Yes. It depends. Now, actually, someone just posted in the server this interesting quote that was the communists talking about the way that in their ranks people had been using the word authoritarianism to kind of like denounce all kinds of like things from all over the field of phenomena, like from people at work to the government to the household, the family, people acting authoritarian. And they said, this kind of calls for a closer investigation because people are just throwing around this word like authoritarianism. What are they trying to? Obviously it's something that we have to face, right? Like that we have to have authority in order for there to be order, which is why I think it's false for a left wing, for the authoritarian to be attributed to the liberal, because the liberal is still, even though the far left wing, the communists don't like the liberals and the right don't like the liberals. Sorry, I'm busy. I still think that, conservatives get elected on platforms of law and order very often. So I think that's the more authoritarian. And that's what authority ensures. And the authority ensures the rule of law and order. The safety of the citizens, like Carl Schmitt says famously, if you submit to a hierarchy, what you get in return is protection.
Yeah.
You're supposed, or at least a good hierarchy, you're supposed to get protection from those above you.
The problem is
they're supposed to look after you, and that's why. Sorry to interrupt you. Let me just finish this one point. That's why I like authority and hierarchy, but only and this is rare, and too rare, I think. It's not rare, but it's too rare. We don't see it enough. We should improve this. Only when hierarchy is only really good when the people at the top or higher up are nurturing those underneath them, not crushing them, but nurturing them.
Right. And not denying them opportunities, but giving them opportunities.
And you don't deny the hierarchy, but you have to do it so like it's all agreeable, like, and everything finds its place where it can flourish in its own way. You know, like an ecosystem. Like think of a rainforest. Think of how like there's like a tiger. I don't know if tigers are in rainforest, but whatever. Jungle. You know, tiger, and then monkey, and then snake, and then worm, and then ant, and you know, everything has its place, and it's like doing its thing, and it's like it's all the whole balance of the whole thing makes it. Well, like if you get an ecosystem that falls out of balance, it dies, and everything dies.
Yeah,
you know, it's like carefully arranged balance that evolves over a long time, and we're still doing that. Like the political system is a very complicated thing, and we're still evolving ours, and I think we need time for them for everything to find its place and niche and where it can flourish and be itself and be comfortable and be protected and in its lane and, you know, like just doing what it likes to do and doing what we like to do. So that's why I like authority. And I think it's wrong to say, so that tweet, I think it's wrong for them to say liberals are authoritarian, even though liberals are like, you know, their authoritarianism is a kind of like police. It's kind of like, say, police speech. You're not allowed to say hateful things. You're not allowed to do irony too much of like, blarping as like a racist or something, you know, like if you think they think that's like even if you're doing it ironically, they don't find it funny, like, oh no, that's distasteful. You're not allowed to like have. We all have like these aggressive instincts, like our unconscious, as Freud says, is like basically like we just want to eat and kill and fuck things because we're predators basically, right? We're like lions, or we're human, but we're still predators. So our instincts are like, I'm talking about, we consciously think of ourselves as, you know, refined or intelligent or sophisticated or clever or cool or hip or whatever we think. But actually we're like, you know, we're just like animals kind of at some level at least. So to think that we don't just want to like have these impulses which we can't control sometimes and lead us to do crazy things is like kind of just natural. And like liberals want us to never do that stuff. They want us to be like perfect, and they think of themselves as perfect, and they think, oh, how can everyone else not be as perfect as me? And that's their authoritarianism. But it's not the authoritarianism that I'm talking about. It's a different kind. And this is what that communist, I forgot who it was, but he was saying we have to look into the matter more closely. I think this is what you find if you look into it more closely. Anyway, so that answers both the tweet and your question, Arikard, about the political map. So I hope that helps.
Yeah. So what I was going to say was, I don't disagree with the core of what you're saying. However, when it comes to the left, I believe protection from, you know, the government too much. They want the government to protect us more than it's supposed to. So that's
which is not to say people don't need that protection.
But it shouldn't necessarily come from the government.
I think that's misunderstanding the role of. I think that's precisely the role of government. I think it's actually correct. Are you saying that left? Let me distinguish first between liberals, Democrats, right? Like, because you guys are in America, aren't you? Mm-hmm. I'm in Australia. Mm-hmm. You're in America, so it's useful. Are you guys in touch? Do you know any communists, either online or are you in any spheres of communists or not?
I mean,
how do you consider yourselves politically?
I'm very centrist, and no, I don't have any communists in my sphere.
Okay.
No.
Okay, cool. Okay, centrist. Cool. So when you say, sorry, and you, Arikard?
I'm a conservative centrist, but I do immerse myself in the left sphere of conversation because I hate echo chambers. Yeah, I like that too. That's cool. I like that thinking. That's cool.
I often follow accounts that I disagree with, and I'm just like either hate read them or just think. Sometimes I jump in there. It's like there's a funny meme on Twitter that was like, that meme of like it's I think it's like Kanye in a studio and he's leaning. There's like three people in a studio and he's like leaning over and he's like saying something and he's like, "Oh my god, that's toxic discourse," and then he's like, "Comment on it."
Actually, I don't think I've seen that one, but I'm gonna try to Google it.
It's funny. He's like just oh my god, that discourse is toxic. I'm gonna comment on it.
That's funny.
That reminds me of
so
both
true,
myself
like,
and her.
I do that a lot. I was like, yeah, that's me.
Yes, we can very much empathize with that emotion as well.
You can relate to that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You jump in, you think this is fucked, and you jump in. And
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
A lot of the time, it's
yeah.
me doing the toxic Discord originally, anyway. So, at least from certain perspectives.
Exactly.
But no,
yeah. So
You said
okay,
you still
so
had a
that's
question
interesting.
about that
So that's
tweet,
interesting. So like, let me just start with like saying, okay, so you have Democrats, liberals, right? And then you have leftists, I think, or communists. So thank you. I'm fine. So and then like you have, so there's a distinction there, and I think it's important to draw it because liberals want government, but the liberal government is like liberals can't produce leaders. Liberalism does not produce leaders. It produces empty shells. People who might be charming, like Bill Clinton, who by all accounts was very charming, very personable, very relatable, and so on. And he could seduce people, and so on. But that doesn't make a great leader. It's a different quality.
Yeah.
He didn't have like presence of mind. All communist leaders, they all use their brains. That's why I gave you that article that Brian, and everyone should remember that this name, Brian Cook. He's I call him my master because it's like kind of like as if you were a ninja or a samurai.
Yeah.
You know how you have like a mask and you
Sensei.
study the blade or whatever. He was like my master in philosophy though, not in. But I used to study martial arts actually, and that's where my discipline and like respect for masters came from. Interestingly,
Nice.
but I think that it's good. It's good. Basically, he was saying in that article. Deidre.
Oh no, she left.
Oh, she left. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
She's
she
gone.
was frustrated because we weren't giving her the answer to her question.
Oh well, let's go back to her. He'll call her back and let's answer her question.
No, she's not gonna come back.
Oh, okay, fine. That's fine. Yeah. So where were we? Oh yes. Okay, she's gone. Hey, I'm just gonna jump in the Discord and see if anyone wants to jump on.
Yeah, sure.
Do this. How do you spell Arikada? Is it Ara
It's ARUCARD.
Gard? Yeah, Arikad.
Yeah.
Arikad? Yes, that's it. I'm going to describe you as a base trad centrist. How about that?
How are they the same fucking thing?
Because freedom, free will is how you self-determine.
Free will and freedom are not the same thing.
Freedom is the degree to which you have free will.
No, it's not. Not in here.
Okay, I sent them the link. Cool. So what were we talking about now? What do we want to talk about? So do you have any questions?
Sorry, I stepped away for a second. I'm back though.
Oh, cool. Do you have any? What do you want to talk about now? Do you have any questions, or should we?
well-
how do you usually frame this?
Yeah, so my standard framing is I just run through the whole political compass test so I can get like a snapshot of your thoughts, you know?
Yep. That's great. Nice.
And how I like to do it is I read you the question, and you obviously can choose between the four answers, the standard four answers, and just like if you can give just a very brief like one sentence reason why you think whatever you think, and then we just move on to the next question.
Yep. Sure. Let's do it.
Awesome.
Based.
Cool. If economic globalization is inevitable, it should primarily serve humanity rather than the interests of transnational corporations.
Absolutely, 100%. Do you want me to say why?
Strongly agree. Yeah, just briefly.
Because I think corporations, in a sense, corporations don't even exist. They only exist as people. Like, if they exist as something other than people, then they're just a bundle of contract, right? The people come first, is my basic position.
Fascinating. Okay. I would always support my country whether it was right or wrong.
Ooh, hard question. Yes, I would support my country.
Is that an agree or a strong agree?
That's agreed.
Okay. Because?
Oh, because?
Oh, yeah, just your reason for your answer.
Because I think loyalty is a virtue.
Got it. No one chooses their country of birth, so it's foolish to be proud of it.
No one chooses to be born either, but like that doesn't change anything about life. So I think that's no. I think it's good to be proud of where you're born.
Is that a
Even though you
disagree
don't
or
choose
strong
it.
disagree?
So state the question again, one more time.
No one chooses their country of birth, so it's foolish to be proud of it.
No, false.
Disagree or strong disagree?
Strong disagree.
Cool. And you already gave the reason. Our race has many superior qualities compared with other races.
Disagree.
And just briefly,
They're all equal. All races are equal. It's like the race war is fake.
got it.
It's cool to laugh, but we don't know enough about genetics fundamentally to do any of and I don't think we ever will.
Heard it. The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
True.
True or very true?
Very true.
Military action that defies international law is sometimes justified.
Not a strong agree, but an agree.
Gotcha. And because?
Because I think that the laws come from people, right? They come from legislators, and the legislators have to be, in my view, philosopher kings. And if they're not philosopher kings, like I'm a Platonist, right? And I also like the book, but I like the Bible.
Avast.
I think Moses. Yeah.
I'm
So
an acolyte of Aristotle myself, but we'll put that to the side.
Oh, nice. No, that's based. I like Aristotle a lot. Obviously he's based. I prefer Plato, but I appreciate Aristotle a lot because he's more like scientific, right? He does the taxonomy and stuff, and he breaks down ethics into its like component parts, like an anatomist. He's incredible. He breaks it down to like the molecular level. It's like just so fine tuned. It's incredible. It's really impressive.
Yeah, and just for the record,
no wonder he has survived for so long. It's based.
Just for the record, though, I love me some Plato too. You know, but anyway.
Yeah, he's cool. It's a personal preference thing. Like maybe that's your mind.
Yeah.
Like if you like science, if you like the hard sciences and you like that kind of thing, you probably like Aristotle more than, if you're more of a literature thing, you probably like Plato more than Aristotle.
I think it's almost like a left-right thing.
I think it's a left-right thing. I think right would be more drawn to Aristotle and left would be more drawn to Plato.
Yeah, I got to agree with that. Oh, and I apologize for making you give a reason since it's so obvious, but for the enemy of my enemy is my friend answer.
Yeah, okay. I'll give a reason. No worries. I think that I actually heard Haz on the stream, this is infrared, talking about the way he and a guy called Caleb Morgan, I think his name is, and Peter Coppin, and Jackson Hinkle were like found themselves like as if they were backing up like into each other in a kind of like not a deserted, but like a dingy alleyway.
Right.
Suddenly, and they've got like guns facing outwards towards enemies.
Yeah.
Suddenly, and they're closing in on them, and suddenly they back into each other, and they turn around. They're like, "Whoa, what do you guys do? I guess we're allies."
Yeah, I fucking love that imagery. But technically, that's not a reason.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, I can relate to that. That's kind of, I think.
So I love that
you're joined by a shared purpose, a shared drive,
right?
That brings you, and I think that really is a basis for kinship, for connection.
So essentially, the fundamental reason you're giving is that it's just generally the case that more allies is better than less.
Absolutely, yeah. It's pragmatic. It's realpolitik in a way, and I think also like it's that. It's good strategy. Yeah. It's very practical.
Not only is it good strategy, but in my view, it is the only good strategy. But anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Like, I think it's always better to look for what we have in common than what divides us.
Absolutely. That's what you and I are doing right now, right?
Yeah, absolutely. 100% with what we've done from the start. I mean, you came in and you said, who wants to speak to a conservative? And I was just like pro-social, and I just said, yeah.
Right.
Even though I'm not conservative, I'm as far left as you can go.
Right.
But I'm happy to talk to anyone because, like, the lessons of being far left have taught me to do this, to forge alliances.
Yeah.
I think they're the true lessons of the left.
That's precisely how I feel too.
And the true lessons of the right about protecting what you value.
Yeah.
I think. And that's valuable as well. I think the left and the right have things to teach.
And literally, wherever you fall on the spectrum, like you could be a tanky or a full-on like Nazi, but like, or even like just like a liberal centrist that hates freedom of speech. But like, no matter who you are, or I guess not if you hate freedom of speech, but like if you are at least willing to speak to anyone from anywhere else, like if you're at least willing to entertain their thoughts as you form your own, that I consider you my friend and ally,
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Yeah, I agree.
All right, moving on. There is now a worrying fusion of information and entertainment.
No, I disagree.
Strong disagree?
Unless, no, actually, yes, no, I think this is a strong agree.
The strong agree?
Strong agree. Strong agree.
Oh,
yeah,
so-
I'm a Straussian, so I think everything fundamentally in modernity, everything remains at the level of entertainment.
Well, wait. So I'm just confused. So you're saying it is worrying or it is not worrying, the fusion of...
It is worrying. It is worrying.
Okay.
It is worrying.
Okay. So that's
Because
strong
what it
agree.
means, I'll explain that for a little bit. I think two things. First is that I'm a Straussian, which I can go into in more detail. But it basically means one of the things Strauss thinks is like in modernity. So Strauss is a kind of like a historian of political ideas. He's interested in telling stories about how the history of ideas have shaped current institutions and practices and social bodies and so and nations and so on. He's interested in how philosophical ideas have traveled through history. And he thinks in modernity, we fundamentally remain at the level of entertainment. So everything is that saying, circus and bread for the people.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
can I just ask
This
you
is-
what would the desired alternative be? Because I'm just at a loss.
The desired alternative would be that's an interesting question, actually. Now that I think about it, I think like the information has to come first, and the entertainment should follow from the information.
Aha.
The information has to be prioritized.
Yeah.
It has to be top notch. It has to be top notch, and the entertainment is what makes it engaging.
Yeah.
But
I
only once
yeah.
you've got the information right, which means you need philosopher kings, basically, like people who are basically you need good education, universal education, so that people have formed like good taste, and not had their minds corrupted by popular mass culture. And that doesn't mean that like what other people like is bad. It's just that there's nothing like liking what other people like is good and well, like that's well and good. But you also want to be critical. You don't want to lose your critical faculties.
Indeed. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you for that answer. We shall move on.
Yeah.
Page 2. People
Yeah.
people are ultimately divided more by class than by nationality.
Yes.
True or very
Communist. So of course, very true. Communist. So of course, I think that.
true? Okay. So your reason is you're a communist.
Yeah.
That's
and
fine.
I think class divides drive history. The Marx's famous line is the history of all hitherto existing societies, the history of class struggle.
Got it. Controlling inflation is more important than controlling unemployment.
Not true. Oh, actually, yes, it is true. It depends. Like, this is an interesting question because it means what are you putting first? Are you putting livelihoods first, or are you putting consumers first? I would put livelihoods first, so I would say unemployment needs to be lower. But the thing is, you won't ever get rid of all poverty with just work. You also need to give money to this is my view. Only money will.
Yeah.
Poverty is precisely a lack of money. The poor people lacking money. So the only thing that will fix poverty is giving poor people who are lacking money more money.
I agree.
Now that means paying them for work they do and being able to provide work for them,
Right.
give them jobs,
Right.
and there needs to be jobs for them to do. But
Right.
it also means in many instances, like I would be for, I think like after the revolution, I would have, if I were in charge, I would have a UBI, I would have a universal basic income, and it would be subsistence level. So it would be you can survive on it. It's not going to get you any fancy meals. It's not going to get you a fast car. It's not going to get you a holiday, but you can live on it.
See,
And if you just
that's
want to live,
fascinating.
no one has to go hungry. No one has to go hungry. So it's just, you got to live on it. But if you want anything more, then you have to work. It's as simple as that. I don't know why we don't have this already.
So I support the idea of a universal basic income, but I don't support using state power to do it. But we don't have to argue about it.
Okay. No. That's interesting. So how would you do it if you didn't have state power to do it? How
Right.
would you do it?
So-
Where does the authority And where's the authority, if not from the laws and the institutions and so on, and the legislating body which makes those laws and institutions, where would it come from?
In my view, the current lack of UBI is,
So you sound like a libertarian.
well, you know, they're not wrong about everything.
Okay, interesting. Yeah,
So,
okay. I associate libertarians with anarchists.
Yeah, I'm not an anarchist. In my view, the current lack of something like a universal basic income is the fault of, or a resultant flaw of, the utter and dismal lack of imagination and, honestly, insufficient profit seeking on the part of people who are rich in society in the current day.
Insufficient profit seeking
Yes.
of people who are rich.
Yeah. So my fundamental belief in this regard is that rich people should not expect to not help poor people financially in a direct way. And at the same time, poor people should not expect to not be responsible for compensating the rich people that help them after the fact.
Sorry, I was distracted. Say that again.
So my basic premise is that, and when it comes to UBI, is that I believe that rich people should feel a responsibility to pay poor people in order to make them not poor, and at the same time, poor people should feel a responsibility to compensate those rich people after the fact for doing so.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a good arrangement. I just don't see how that can't be mediated by the government.
Well, it could be. I'm saying. I'm not saying it
should
can't.
All be done by independent charity.
Yeah. So I think that when I said insufficient profit seeking, I think that rich people would actually make way more money if they figured out how to make poor people not poor, and profit off of the proceeds of them no longer being poor in the future.
Right. Because if they're not poor, then they have money, then they're spending more money.
Dude, can't listen to two people talk. What were you saying, Deidre?
If Elon Musk can take over payloads and just general space station crap in the private sector, then it's obviously possible to do what you're doing.
Oh, she was...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, I agree.
The government's just not necessary and usually makes things much slower and less efficient.
I partly agree. But this is very free market, libertarian. Get the government out of the way. Let the people.
But at the same time, though,
I like this idea.
At the same time, though, I'm perfectly willing to concede that in the absence of the kind of rich person cultural awakening that I'm describing actually occurring in the present day, it's not crazy that people desire left government policies. I just don't think that those are good ideas. I think they're not as good ideas as what I want to do, and I think they're overall bad ideas just because of what the violence of history shows us. But I don't think that people are crazy for desiring or advocating for left government policies, because I completely empathize with them wanting the material benefits or goods that they need in their lives. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. So, I like the way you put that.
Thank you.
I think a couple of things. Sorry, I was distracted again. Well, I think that's interesting because if people aren't doing it themselves, their fingers overlapping,
right,
and with a circle, their thumbs making a circle, and their leg in a cross-legged position with their back straight.
perfect world, everyone would be self-employed. Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I consider everyone an amateur philosopher, whether they like it or not. So.
We all think, don't we? We all think.
Yeah, we all have opinions about morality, so.
Right, exactly. We all have ideas about what's good and bad. We all have ideas about what's right and wrong.
Indeed.
And Socrates was like, that's why I was interested to talk to you, because like you were just this random guy. And I was like, you know, I because I like Plato, obviously. And it's like Socrates he's just another random guy as well to the people on the street. And he just comes along, he just starts asking questions.
Yep.
Which is kind of what you're doing to me. You're kind of doing that to me right now.
Precisely.
Except like, but I'm the one being interviewed. So I told you. So I'm something of a philosopher. I'm kind of like a minor philosopher, I suppose.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like the roles are reversed. But it's the same thing. Like I talk to you because I think everyone has. You can elicit ideas and generate ideas with almost anyone, because like all you have to do is just like get something, and then you can bounce around with it, and you know you go in all sorts of interesting directions. I think once you get down to like, what if you've thought about it for long enough, you can really just think on your feet, and I think everyone thinks about it. It's kind of like the paradox of Zen, because like Zen is just like, it's like disciplining your thinking to just, you never exit the present moment. But we there's no way to get out of the present moment. Is inescapable for everyone. So everyone's kind of like a Zen Buddhist in a way.
All right.
What you were saying.
Wait.
Like
so
sorry, I'm going on and on and on and on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you are. You really are.
Sorry.
she's a lot more upset at you than I am. So just so you know.
I'm sorry, is it Deidre? I'm sorry. You left in a huff. I'm really sorry. I was talking over you, and you say something. You wanted us to talk about. Let's talk about your tweet. Let's explain the tweet. What? Let's go back to that, because I wanted to stay on that, but like you got distracted or something.
No, I tried to bring it up, but you never mind. Well, we won't talk about what happened. Anyway, I'm arguing with this guy about that topic that we were talking about, and
Yep.
Let me go back to it so I don't botch it.
Yep, sure.
I was making the point of he's being very black and white with the concept of freedom. He's saying either you have freedom or you don't. And I'm kind of making the argument of freedom, like most things, is on a spectrum. It's about how much freedom you have. And so he basically was just kind of really adamantly disagreeing with that, saying that there is no kind of spectrum of freedom, but more a spectrum of self-determination. And I came out to Christopher, and because I was like, that sounds like BS to me. Like, that doesn't really make much sense to me. And he explained it to me. He's like, well, there's really not much difference between the two of those things, self-determination and freedom. And the way that I kind of figured that, kind of just made it make sense in my own mind, was the fact that self-determination kind of determines how much freedom that a person has most of the time. Therefore, there really isn't a lot of difference. So if you're telling me it's not a spectrum of freedom, but it's the spectrum of self-determination, you're actually kind of agreeing with me, which is why it was ringing as BS. So, yeah, his response to me telling him that that self-determination is basically freedom, and therefore you're not disagreeing with me, is that it's not about how much freedom that a person has, and that doesn't make sense, but it's about which freedoms a person has. And my response was, well, which freedoms you have determine how much freedom you have. So we're really talking about the same thing here. And he said I was, quote...
sounds like the same thing to me.
Yeah, he said I was, quote, adding apples and oranges. And now I don't know what that means.
I'm pretty sure he's just projecting, Deidre.
I don't know what that means.
That's a mess. That is a mess. I'm sorry,
yeah, that's Twitter for you.
That's a typical day on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was really confused, and I wanted Christopher to help me out. So
yeah, that is really. I'm sorry that you have to wait to make it. I was absolutely lost then.
yeah, yeah. But I don't think that that's worth too much time on air. So
Yeah, I think we basically finished that. Okay,
Yeah.
so if I could just keep holding it. If I could just recall what your answer ended up being on the controlling inflation is more important than controlling unemployment.
I think my answer comes down on controlling unemployment is more important.
And is that a strong or a somewhat?
Strong.
Okay. Wonderful. Oh, you said inflation is more important than unemployment,
no,
right?
unemployment is more important.
Oh, my bad. Okay, all right. Next is because corporations.
Do you want me to try and go into a little bit of why, or should we go on to the next
Oh,
question?
you did. I did want you to say why. If you could just be terse.
Briefly? Yeah, sure. I think that the engine of the economy is obviously, like, I'm a Marxist, so I follow Marx in thinking all value comes from labor, right? He has the labor theory of value. I won't go into how automation affects that, but basically, inflation is when if you have high employment, then you're driving the economy, so profits are high, which means firms can afford to put prices low. That's the basic reason.
Okay.
The more worker power, the more value in the economy, right? The more profits, which means firms don't have to put prices up to make a profit. Which is inflation, right? Inflation is rising prices. So the more labor power there is in the economy, the more value is being created, the more profit is being created, which means that firms don't have to put prices up to make a profit, so they can keep prices down, which controls inflation. That's why unemployment is more important.
Gotcha. All right.
Yep.
Because corporations cannot be trusted to voluntarily protect the environment, they require regulation.
Hard question. Yes, they need regulation.
I thought that would. I thought that would be a.
current system.
I thought that would be a layup for you. I thought that would be like a immediate strong agree.
Yeah, strong agree.
I got you. And just briefly, why?
Because of the profit motive. Because of the only thing. Okay, so capitalism is basically a negative control feedback loop. Okay, so it's like a thermostat. So the thermostat is like, it measures the temperature in the room, right? And if it's too cold, it turns up the heat. And if it's at the right level, then it doesn't turn up the heat. The economy, capitalism, is basically like that. And what it does is, like, it allocates resources, capital, to firms that are making money, profits. And if they don't make profits, then it moves elsewhere and it punishes them. And the capital goes to firms that will make a profit. So that's what it's detecting. It's like, am I getting profit? Yes. Okay, more investment. Am I getting profit? No. Invest somewhere else. And it's like this feedback loop, and it gets information back from the market, and then it just feeds until it gets profit. And so, where was I going with this? I just forgot. Let me think on my feet. Where was I going? What was the question again?
The question was, because corporations cannot be trusted to voluntarily protect the environment, they require regulation.
Yeah, right. Okay, so like, that's all they can see. That's all they can't tell when the environment is being ruined. So all they can see is profit. They can't see negative externalities.
They have a strong bias toward profit, and they have a strong incentive not to look at damage.
Right. So they need to be regulated. Yes.
Cool.
They need outside supervision to say this shouldn't be happening or this should be happening. You can't just have profit as your measure. You need other things.
And they're also insufficiently long biased. I mean, if they were sufficiently long biased, there would be a perfect correlation between profit and environmentalism. But since they prefer short-term profits, then that becomes an issue.
Exactly.
All right. From each according to his ability, to each according to his need, is a fundamentally good idea.
100%.
It's so great.
Because it comes from
It's so great because I agree with this on my political compass too. But again, it's about making it happen without forcing people to do it.
Right. So it's your way of, like, the practical fleshing out of how that idea gets translated into like actual material. practices,
That
right?
question alone perfectly illustrates what exactly I mean when I say I'm a political conservative, but I believe in left ethics.
Nice, I get it now. Yeah, that's good.
Awesome.
It's the way that you translate the ethics into the actual practices that you get. You're like,
Indeed.
yes, is this working or is this a good idea? It was the actual putting into practice of the ideas. Yeah, I see that. That's good.
Nice. All right. The freer the market, the freer the people.
No, strong disagree.
And just briefly, the reason.
Extremely unbased idea. Extremely unbased. That's a big no.
Okay, a little bit more of a reason than unbased would be nice.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Again, it's the profit thing. So the market is basically a machine for producing profit, and profit. It's like the platitude people say, money won't solve all your problems.
Wait. Isn't it kind of like saying the freer the people, the lesser the murder?
Sorry, say that again.
The freer the people, the lesser the murders.
Yeah, I like that. I've never heard that before. That's good.
I just made it up on the spot.
Yeah, it's good. I like it.
Thank you. All right, I think we gave an answer. All right. It's a sad reflection on our society that something as basic as drinking water is now a bottled, branded consumer product.
Yeah, strong agree.
Because
It's bad because it violates the principle of from to each according to their need. Water is a necessity.
what about people who need bottled water or they'll die?
It. Sorry, what about people who what?
What about people who will die unless they have bottled water because there's no clean drinking water where they live?
Well, that's great, but it shouldn't. They should get it for free.
Oh, okay. I understand. Okay. Land shouldn't be a commodity to be bought and sold.
Strongly agree.
Okay. Because?
Because property is theft.
Interesting.
Abolish property.
Fascinating. All right. It is regrettable that many personal fortunes are made by people who simply manipulate money and contribute nothing to their society.
Yes, it's regrettable. Strong agree.
Strong agree. Because, briefly.
Because literally, it says it in the question, they contribute nothing to society.
Gotcha. Protectionism is sometimes necessary in trade.
Yes. Not
Okay.
strong agree, but agree.
Okay. The only
And I'll
social...
skip why.
Oh, I'm so sorry. What was the reason?
Oh, skip why. It's too boring.
Come on, just a sentence.
I guess it relates to the idea of the putting the nation first and the loyalty thing that we were talking about earlier. One of the first questions.
Cool. Let's see.
Yeah.
The only social responsibility of a company should be to deliver a profit to its shareholders.
Wrong. Not interestingly, this is why as well. Not even companies think that anymore. I think it's a Hayekian position, and not even companies at the World Forum convened and changed that. They actually think like it's now to improve society.
Nice. Okay, so that's strong disagree
The
then?
number one most important thing. The number one most important thing was like previously to support the shareholders, but to serve the shareholders, and now the most important thing is to
Stakeholders,
improve
right?
society. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so that's a strong disagree?
Yeah.
Okay. The rich are too highly taxed.
Strong disagree.
And briefly, the reason?
Billionaires aren't paying tax. Like, in 2017, Jeff Bezos paid zero tax.
Okay. Let's see. Those with the ability to pay should have access to higher standards of medical care.
No. Strong disagree.
Okay.
I'll tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
Margaret Mead, famous anthropologist, said, asked the question, what is the foundation of civilization, right? And people were like, some people suggested to her, is it like, clay pots or something like that? The first evidence of or is it language, or is it? And she said, no, it's when you can find, she used archaeology. I think she was either an anthropologist or an archaeologist, I can't remember, doesn't matter. But she used archaeology. She said, when you can find a broken femur, right, that's healed. So you do archaeology and you find bones. But if you can detect a broken femur that's healed, that's the basis of the civilization there. Because what they've done is they've helped the person who has broken their leg recover. And that means a sophisticated arrangement where they care for each other. There's a social situation, a basic agreement and a contract where they help each other and they mutual flourishing kind of thing. And that's the foundation of civilization. So I think to say that people who can pay more should have more help when the foundation of civilization is just help itself, I think is absurd.
Gotcha. Okay. Governments should penalize businesses that mislead the public.
Strong agree.
Okie doke.
But I'll qualify that. I think it's allowed, in advertising, the law allows for what's called puffery, when firms, companies, corporations, put on a show of enhancing the image of their product, they make it seem better than it is. I think a little bit of that is allowed, it's fine. Because they need to sell their product. They're interested in, that's their business. And they need to sell in order to flourish, which is fine. I think that's all right.
So perhaps you're only in agree?
They're allowed to they can hype up their product, which is fine, but they shouldn't mislead. So I think, I would say not a strong agree, but an agree.
Okay, cool. Let's see. A genuine free market requires restrictions on the ability of predator multinationals to create monopolies.
Say that again. Sorry, I missed that.
A genuine free market requires restrictions on the ability of predator multinationals to create monopolies.
Yeah, strong agree.
Okie doke. Abortion, when the woman's life is not threatened, should all... Oh, wait, hold on. I didn't get your reason for the last one.
Oh, the reason for the last one, because monopolies are antisocial, I think.
Gotcha. Okay, abortion...
Competition. You need basic economics. You need competition. It's basic economics for to drive down prices and to increase efficiency, productivity.
Gotcha. Abortion, when the woman's life is not threatened, should always be illegal.
Strong disagree.
Okay, and because?
Because it's a woman's choice. It's the life that their body is giving birth to, so they should be able to choose whether they want to give birth to that life or not.
I see. All authority should be questioned.
Agree. No, strong disagree.
Yes, please.
There should be no reason to question authority. It should just be so self-evidently authoritative that there should be no reason to question it.
So you're just defining authority in a really special way. I actually like that answer. Okay. An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth.
Strong agree.
And because?
It's in the Bible.
I'll take it. All right. Taxpayers should not be expected to prop up any theaters or museums that cannot survive on a commercial basis.
Wrong.
Because?
Because art and museums are not just about commerce.
Aha. Okay. Schools should not make classroom attendance compulsory.
Strong disagree.
Aha. Because?
Because education is important.
Gotcha.
And so is discipline.
Gotcha. All people have their rights, but it is better for all of us that different sorts of people should keep to their own kind.
True. Agree.
Okie doke.
No, actually, strong disagree.
Strong disagree. Because?
Because I don't. Diversity is like
A strength, right?
a bit of. Yeah, I think diversity is strength. I think we find strength in diversity. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Good parents sometimes have to spank their children.
Disagree.
Because?
Because I think capital. It's not corporal punishment. Is outdated.
Yeah, cool. All right, next. It's natural for children to keep some secrets from their parents.
Yes, agree.
Agree or strong agree?
Strong agree.
And briefly, the reason?
Because not everyone needs to know everything.
Indeed. All right. Possessing marijuana for personal use should not be a criminal offense.
Strong agree.
Because?
Because freedom.
Ha. Love it. The prime function of schooling should be to equip the future generation to find jobs.
Strong disagree.
And the reason?
Because they need to be human first.
Nice. People with serious inheritable disabilities should not be allowed to reproduce.
Strong disagree.
I'm guessing the reason is eugenics bad?
Yeah.
Cool. The most important thing...
I think I will expand on that actually. I think our social systems should be so developed that it doesn't matter how you're born.
Ah, okay. I like that answer. The most important thing for children to learn is to accept discipline.
Strong agree.
Aha. And the reason?
Because all flourishing comes from discipline, I think.
Cool. All right. There are no savage and civilized peoples. There are only different cultures.
Strong agree. Oh, actually,
Thank you.
strong disagree.
Strong disagree.
No, strong agree.
Strong agree.
Strong agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
And briefly the reason?
I think, to give a simple reason, I think this idea of savage and noble is outdated. But to give a more sophisticated answer, I think equality is not something we find in the world, but it's something that we elicit from the heart.
Okay. Those who are able to work and refuse the opportunity should not expect society's support.
That's a tough one. I think strong agree, but there are exceptions.
Aha, interesting. Well, so if it's strong agree with exceptions...
Only it should be done on a case-by-case basis, and only those with strong reasons not to work, and when they've been given the opportunity, like they have other talents that need to be nurtured and developed, then that's fine. but
Okay.
only if they have those talents. Only if they have those talents, should they be allowed to reject work and focus on their talents.
So that would be an agree, not a strong agree, right?
Yeah.
Okay. When you are troubled, it's better not to think about it, but to keep busy with more cheerful things.
Yeah. That's a hard one.
These are well-written questions, I must say.
Yeah, they really are. They're quite good. I think I strongly agree, because that's a way of fixing the problem. By not focusing on the problem, it's a way of fixing it. I think you actually are addressing the problem if you focus on other things.
Okay. First-generation immigrants
Oh my god.
First-generation immigrants can never be fully integrated within their new country.
First generation immigrants can never be fully integrated. Depends on how old they are. Depends.
So is that an agree or a
they'd be
disagree?
adults. They'd have to be adults, wouldn't they? So fully integrated? No, I disagree. Not a strong disagree, but I disagree.
Okay, so they can be fully integrated, but they're just not necessarily likely to be fully integrated, right?
Yeah, something like that. I think that's fair.
Okay.
Yeah, I think because they're gonna have to be adults as immigrants, they're gonna have to be adults.
What he was saying.
But
He was saying adults are the ones who cannot ever, but children can. That was different from what you just said.
Yes.
Oh,
Because
so
the
you were
adults-
saying
the
adults
adults
can't,
are gonna
but children can?
Children can become their children can become into fully integrated, but not them because they're already adults.
Okay,
they've
so
come
a
from
first-gen immigrant who's a child can fully integrate in your view, but a first-gen immigrant who's an adult can't, right?
perfectly true. Yes.
Okay. And then that boiled down to like a disagree, right?
Yes.
Or I guess it would be an agree, more of an agree.
Agree. More of an agree. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's
It's
mostly
right
adults.
on the. It's right on the border.
Children
It's right
don't
on the
just come
edge.
here.
But
Yeah.
I would say if you go either way, but I would say agree.
We definitely get more adults than children as immigrants, I would say. So,
I think so. Yes.
all right, let's see. What's good for the most successful corporations is always ultimately good for all of us.
Strong disagree.
Okie doke. And I'm guessing the reason is you're a communist.
Yes.
You're a communist. That's not shocking to me at all.
Okay. No broadcasting institution, however independent its content, should receive public funding.
Strong disagree.
Okie doke.
Hey, beer. I'll be back.
Hi. Same reason, I suppose.
I think the quality of media is very important now. I think it goes back to the question of entertainment and information. Remember we were talking about that?
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Moving on. We are now on page 4 of 6. We're making good time.
Shit.
Nice.
Our civil liberties are being excessively curbed in the name of counterterrorism.
Strong agree.
Okay.
People should just man up and just deal with the terrorists, I think.
Interesting. Okay. A significant advantage of a one-party state is that it avoids all the arguments that delay progress in a democratic political system. They're really hitting you where it hurts, bro.
I know. They really are. Damn, like it goes against the Westminster, I think it goes against the whole Westminster system, doesn't it?
The entire concept of democracy is negated by this premise.
There has to be conflict. So I would say no. We don't want a one-party state. There has to be debate. There has to be conflict. There has to be contestation. There has to be contestation in order for the best to emerge. It's like competition in markets. The
Okay.
same principle.
But
So
you
I would
but
say-
you
I
do
would say
also
no, we
enjoy
don't.
You do also enjoy the realpolitik
From the
of China, right?
yeah,
I mean,
I no actually I do. I like the no go the strong agree with one party. Strong agree with one party.
so you kind of gave me both answers. Do you want to agree or disagree?
It's dialectics. I go strong agree.
Okay.
Because I imagine that'll put me further on the authoritarian axis, which is what I want.
Cool. Cool. All right. Although the electronic age makes official surveillance easier, only wrongdoers need to be worried.
Say it again, sorry.
Although the electronic age makes official surveillance easier, only wrongdoers need to be worried.
No, I don't like surveillance. Strong disagree.
Gotcha.
We're all wrongdoers. I think we're all wrongdoers, so I think strong disagree.
Nice. Okay. The death penalty should be an option for the most serious crimes.
No way. Strong disagree.
And I'm guessing the reason has something to do with the 4% of death row inmates that are innocent?
Yeah, that would be part of it. Yeah, and also I think again I just don't think murder is like, even when it's by the state, I just don't think it's desirable.
Never a constructive thing, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. In a civilized society, one must always have people above to be obeyed and people below to be commanded.
Yeah, I strongly agree.
Cool. Because you're authoritarian, correct?
Yeah.
Nice. Abstract art that doesn't represent anything shouldn't be considered art at all.
Strong disagree.
Interesting. Why?
Because it's still art. Like, who knows? Who is to say what it represents?
No
Like,
one.
I
No
think
one.
the
It's
question
no
of-
one's privilege to define art, right?
Yeah, I think like for some people will see nothing in it, and other people will see great things. And I think also there's just pure aesthetics. Like look at Rothko, or look at like it's just pure form. Like it's not. It doesn't like abstract art is still beautiful. I think it can be at least. And think of like Picasso and all these like surrealists, and it doesn't mean anything, but it's still beautiful. It's just it doesn't have to mean anything, and plus meaning is subjective.
Right.
So it can mean things to some people. It can mean other things to other people.
Cool. Okay. I won't waste time agreeing with you. In criminal justice, punishment should be more important than rehabilitation.
No, rehabilitation first.
Right. So strong disagree.
Yeah.
And simply just literally because rehabilitation is much more important than punishment, correct?
Yeah.
Cool. It is a waste of time to try to rehabilitate some criminals.
No, strong disagree. Strong disagree.
Cool. All right. Because never say never, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The business person and the manufacturer are more important than the writer and the artist.
No, strong disagree.
Quickly, the reason.
Say it again. Read it out.
The business person and the manufacturer are more important than the writer and the artist.
No, because I think they're equal, really. But if I have to choose, then I say the writer and the artist is where we get our humanity. So I think the human element comes first.
Gotcha. Mothers may have careers, but their first duty is to be homemakers.
Ooh. Yes. Strong agree.
Okay. Because?
Because of the division of labor. Something fundamental about the division of labor.
Gotcha. The basic
genetic differences, evolutionarily speaking, between men and women?
No, not even that. Not even that. I think social roles. I think gender roles. It's fine. This is only my opinion. So I'm not going to impose my opinion on women. But my opinion is, if you're asking me my opinion, which I don't necessarily want to impose, like I think it differs from woman to woman. Like some women want to have careers, which is fine, and they won't put family first. But if women are the ones who are having children, and they're the ones caring for the children primarily, then they're the ones who are doing the domestic role, right? They're the ones, and that's natural. That's unavoidable. So they're the ones, like, men can't have women except if you're trans or whatever.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So
But,
the
like,
general concept is what
think-
if you do something, you should be responsible for it.
Yes, exactly.
Cool.
Exactly.
All right. Multinational companies are unethically exploiting the plant genetic resources of developing countries.
Yeah, agree. Not strong agree, but agree. Yeah,
Okay.
I think so.
I'm just going to lightning through some of these without asking you for too many reasons, just because I'm running out of time. I have to be back at work at 7.
Yeah, sure. Let's do that.
Sure. Making peace with the establishment is an important aspect of maturity.
Yes.
Strong yes or yes?
Just yes. Not strong.
Cool. Page 5. Astrology accurately explains many things.
Strong disagree.
Okay. You cannot be moral without being religious.
Strong disagree.
Okay.
Actually, strong agree. Strong agree.
All right, now that you did that,
Good.
I have to get a reason.
Okay, because there has to be something more. Like you can't just. And the question of idolatry comes in as well. So if you don't have something ultimate to worship, then what are you going to worship? If you don't have God, or you don't have something, the ultimate, the absolute, like Brahman in Hindu philosophy, and they have different ideas about that.
Dirty
If you don't have
dirty
something
little
absolute,
secret.
if you don't have,
Dirty little secret is
Yeah.
everyone worships something, even if they think they don't.
that's it. Exactly. So the question of idolatry is important. If you don't worship something ultimate and like all transcendent, then you are going to worship something, and that might be idolatry. So I think religion it's an important dimension. It adds so much to morality. So I think tradition, and it adds community, and it adds aesthetics, and it adds beauty, and it adds ritual, and it adds all of these things. I think that's an important part of morality. So I would say strong agree.
In my view, an individual's philosophical outlook is definitionally indistinguishable from an individual's religion.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Wonderful. Charity is better than social security as a means of helping the genuinely disadvantaged.
Say that again. I missed it.
Charity is better than social security as a means of helping the genuinely disadvantaged.
Strong disagree.
Right? Because you believe in government power, correct?
Yes.
Cool. Some people are naturally unlucky.
Strong agree.
Gotcha. It is important that my child's school instills religious values.
Strong agree.
Strong agree. Okie doke.
Yep.
All right, last page. Sex outside marriage is usually immoral.
Strong disagree.
All right. A same-sex couple in a stable, loving relationship should not be excluded from the possibility of child adoption.
Strong agree.
Gotcha. Pornography depicting consenting adults should be legal for the adult population.
Strong agree.
What goes on in a private bedroom between consenting adults is no business of the state.
Strong agree.
Good civil libertarianism here. No one can feel naturally homosexual.
Strong disagree.
And last but not least, These days, openness about sex has gone too far.
Strong agree.
Fascinating. That's fascinating. Okay. And we get your snapshot here. Let's see it. Oh, that's
What
amazing. Okay, hold on. I'm showing this is his results here. Okay. You're all the fucking way on the left side of the chart. Okay. And you're almost in the middle when it comes to authoritarian libertarian, and you're going to hate this. You're under the bar. You're more libertarian than authoritarian.
Oh no!
Yeah. But that's why I love doing this, you know? You learn something new every day, right? Even about yourself.
Yeah.
And perhaps, you know, perhaps you are, I mean, I'm sure you are more authoritarian than the test captured, you know, but that's also why I find it interesting to discuss these things, because oftentimes I feel that I feel it doesn't perfectly capture your thoughts, you know?
It's a question of how you frame it as well.
Yeah.
Like, well, I mean something quite particular when I say authoritarian. Like, I gave you the definition, and it's not the usual definition. So.
Right. Yeah. Well, what did you say your
Name was again?
Larry.
Larry. I am very grateful to Larry for coming on and talking to me and having a good time with me, and I hope that we do it sometime in the future again.
Thanks, Eric. That was really fun. Thanks, man.
Thank you so much, and have a nice night.
You too. See you, Deidre. Say goodbye for me.
Yeah, he's saying bye, Deidre.
Bye, Larry.
Deidre. Bye. Okay.
She said bye
Thanks,
too.
man. That was great. Cool. Thanks. That was great.
Yeah.
I had fun.
Thank you so much. All right, talk to you later.
And send me the result. Can you get a screenshot of it?
Oh, I absolutely will. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, thank you, man.
Yes, sir.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
Ciao.
Bye.
Bye, show.